What's going on, everyone? I'm Boone, and today I'm going to be comparing two very popular Blackmagic cameras. This is the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2, and this is the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Now, I'm going to be looking at the general differences between these two models, but it's going to be in the context of a good run and gun rig. So let's get into it. So if you're new to the world of Blackmagic cameras, if you were to just go out and buy just the bodies of these cameras, the Ursa is going to cost you $6,000 US, and the Pocket 6K is going to cost you $2,000 US. And that's a recent price. This originally was $2,500, and as of like this morning, I think it dropped down to $2,000. So that is a $4,000 price difference. Now, what does that entail? What do you get for that jump in price? Now, if you've ever tried to rig out one of these Pocket Cinema cameras, there's a point where you begin to wonder if you should just go ahead and go with the Ursa. So that happened to me. I was rigging out this 6K and it's just thinking like, what the heck's the difference here? And I wanted to really look at the differences in features and figure out if those features are worth the $4,000 price jump. So that's what I'm gonna be looking at today in this video. All right, so first let's take a closer look at my Ursa Mini Pro run and gun rig and figure out the total price of this setup. So first we have the body of the Ursa Mini Pro G2. This is $6,000 US. I'm going with the Sigma 18-35 art lens. It's a $700 lens. I have the Ursa shoulder mount kit for $400. The Ursa viewfinder for $1,500. I have a V-mount battery plate, that's $100. And I have a V-mount battery here that I got for $150. I'm going with the Deity S Mic 2 shotgun microphone. This is $360 microphone, and I'll be putting that on the mini mic mount. That's $135. Now for media cards, I've gone with the Angelbird Blackmagic Ursa Match Pack. Now, one cool thing about this particular product is that Angelbird has made these match packs, which means they specifically designed these cards to work with this specific camera. Because if you've ever looked for media cards before, and you're trying to go on the cheap, that can be bad, because if you don't know the terminology and you pick the wrong card with the wrong write speed, sustained write speed, you can end up having something that doesn't work. And if you're working with Blackmagic RAW or you're shooting with high frame rates, you want to pick the right media card. And I'm also going with the Angelbird CFast card reader. So when I'm copying media files off from my CFast cards, it's gonna be lightning fast. And I've gone with the Data Color Spider Checker 24 color chart for 50 bucks. Okay, so total price of my Ursa Mini Pro rig is $10,200. Now, as you might have noticed, many of these accessories are made by Blackmagic, including the viewfinder, the shoulder mount kit, the mini mic mount, as well as the V-mount battery plate. And that's a really good thing, because when you put all these accessories on the camera, it's a really tight, solid rig because it's all Blackmagic products. All right, now I'm gonna spec out a rig for the Pocket 6K, and I wanna really match the Ursa in all of its accessories. I want to create the same rig on the Pocket 6K. The problem is, unlike the Ursa, Blackmagic doesn't provide all of the same accessories for the Pocket 6K. So I'm going to need to check out third-party companies and products. Now, the good thing about this is there are just a plethora of options available to me. All right, let's take a look at this piece by piece. I have the Pocket 6K body here. This recently dropped $500 in price. It's now $2,000. I'm gonna go with that same Sigma 18-35 art lens. That's a $700 lens. Just a quick disclaimer here, that particular lens is not the best for handheld run and gun shooting. In fact, you might want to go with something that has IS if you're not going on a shoulder mount and you're just going to be holding it out. This lens is going to be actually pretty terrible for that kind of shooting. So you want to have something with an internal image stabilization, because the Pocket 6K doesn't have the in-body image stabilization. If you're on a tripod, monopod, or shoulder mount, you should be fine. Now for the shoulder rig for the Pocket 6K, I'm gonna go with the Zacuto ACT recoil rig, and this is kind of a brand new rig. It's a $1,500 setup that gives me an EVF, it gives me the rails, it gives me the handle. It's a really amazing setup. I've used Zacuto products before, and I'm always really impressed. They are pretty pricey, but the quality is there, and it's specifically designed for this camera, so that's what I'm going with. For the V-mount battery setup, I'm gonna go with the Indie Pro Tools kit. This is 350 bucks. This gives me the plate, the battery, and the mount, everything that I need for that. I'm also gonna buy a handful of these LPE6 batteries to power my Zacuto EVF. Now I'm gonna go with a different shotgun mic. For the Ursa rig, I had the Deity S Mic 2, Well, there's actually just a smaller version of that, the Deity S Mic 2S, and that runs at $320 US. I'm also gonna go for this particular rig with the Angelbird media cards. There's a match pack for the Pocket 6K as well. They actually have match packs for a number of different cameras. You should go check out their website. So that gives me the CFast card with an external drive for $650 US. Once again, I'm gonna go with that CFast card reader for $65 and that color chart from Data Color for $50. So total price of this rig, $5,600 US. Okay, so I already knew I had a $4,000 price difference between just the bodies of these two cameras. Now that I've rigged both of them out and looked at the total price, I have a price difference of $4,500. So let's take a look at the specific features of each camera and figure out what we're getting for that price jump. All right, so first if we look at sensor size, both of these cameras are rocking a Super 35 sensor. However, the Ursa's is slightly larger. When we talk about resolution, it's really very clearly stated in the name of each camera regarding the maximum resolutions that they capture. So if you're more interested in more resolution, maybe you're a VFX artist and you need that extra resolution when you're working on special effects, or if you just want to have that extra real estate, if you're editing in 4K and you want to be able to reframe and recrop, or if you're doing a lot of stabilization. It all really depends on what you're working on. When we look at the codecs, the Ursa actually shoots in a few additional flavors of ProRes, which is lacking in the Pocket 6K, including XQ and 444. So for the Ursa Mini Pro, you have interchangeable lens mount options, including EF, PL, B4, and F mounts. But with the Pocket 6K, you're fixed with that EF mount. So one of the main features, in my opinion, that makes the Ursa beat out the Pocket 6K as a run and gun rig is the fact that it has those internal ND filters. If you're shooting outdoors at all, you really have to have it. So if you're shooting with the Pocket 6K, you're gonna have to rig that out, and it's gonna be clunky, and it's not gonna be anywhere near as good as having those internal ND filters with a knob that you can just move quickly with your left hand. Now, when we talk about high frame rates, both cameras have a lot of options and a lot of different formats, but the Ursa Mini Pro shoots the highest frame rate at 300 frames per second in HD windowed mode, which is really going to crop things down, but still you can get some really cool images. But with the Pocket 6K, you can still shoot in 120 frames per second in 2.8K and 60 frames per second in 6K. You do have a slight difference in dynamic range. The Ursa Mini Pro shoots 15 stops of dynamic range, whereas the Pocket 6K shoots 13 stops. Now that might not sound like a big difference, but it's a pretty big difference. Both of these cameras have amazing touchscreens, and the menu systems are unparalleled by any other camera brand. Now, I've rigged both of these cameras out to have viewfinders, so screens aren't that important to me. However, the Ursa Mini Pro has a 4-inch screen that can rotate 180 degrees, and if you don't have a viewfinder and you're shooting with that, it's really important if you want to get low angles or high angles, or you're moving the camera around a lot. That's almost a deal breaker, I would say, because the Pocket 6K has a larger screen, it's 5 inches, and you notice that size difference. It's much bigger. However, it's fixed. You can't move it at all, which shooting with a camera like that with a fixed screen is really frustrating. If you have it on a tripod, you're doing an interview, that's fine, you're indoors. But if you're outdoors and it's hard to see that screen and you're moving your head around and craning your neck around, I hate it. That's why not only do I not like screens, I prefer viewfinders, but if you have a fixed screen, you're trying to run and gun, good luck. Now, when we look at the weight of these two cameras, the Ursa is over twice the weight of the Pocket 6K. They're really drastically different. Holding the Ursa is like holding a little mini tank, and holding the Pocket 6K, it's almost like a little paperweight. It almost feels cheap, but the material is really good. It's a carbon fiber material, which makes it incredibly light. So if you're working on a gimbal, no question you're gonna wanna go with that Pocket 6K. So the thing is light. Now, audio is obviously very important. The Ursa has 2 full-size XLR inputs, switchable between mic line, AES audio, has the phantom power support. Now, the Pocket 6K has 1 mini XLR input and 1 3.5mm little mini stereo input plug. Now, for storage space, the Ursa, once again, it's naturally bigger, so there's more room, more real estate. On the Ursa Mini Pro, you have 2 CFast 2.0 card slots and 2 SD UHS 2 card slots. You also have a slot for USB-C 3.1 generation, so you can connect external media and record Blackmagic RAW and ProRes directly to those drives. The Pocket 6K just has one CFast card slot and one SD UHS 2 rated card slot, and of course the USB-C 3.1 port as well. Ergonomics are also very important. The Ursa definitely beats out the Pocket 6K for this for me. I come from a broadcast background. I did a lot of ENG shooting, and having all those buttons readily available and kind of muscle memory, you know where they are. You never have to really dive into the menus when you're using the Ursa, whereas the Pocket 6K, you might be using that screen a lot. However, I must say that the Pocket 6K, the buttons that they decided to put on the camera and their position, I think are very good. The focus button and the ISO and camera controls. After you use it for a while as a run and gun rig, you definitely get comfortable with it. Okay, so there you have it. There are some key differences between the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2 and the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Hope this video was helpful. If you were trying to make a decision between these two cameras, hopefully now you can make that decision. So if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell.